All right, so let's Ethereum Classic hits 3,300% in 133 days. That's crazy. But then only to turn around and start falling another approximately 80% from its high in just about the same amount of time. So what will ETC price prediction be for 2021? Let's get to it and find out. So before we start looking at charts, we're going to ask ourselves a few questions here. Will it drop some more? Where might be some more opportunities? Are there any big news for Ethereum Classic? How strong is it? And why are they calling July 20th Independence Day for ETC? Well, it's holding strong in the top 20. It's been between 19 and 18, and it's confirmed by CoinMarketCap, as you can see there. The second is that Ethereum Classic hit a quote-unquote new high, 62.63, but that's only that little bump that we just saw at the very end there. And Ethereum, why is it July 20th? Because ETC nodes software is happening on the 20th. They think that that might be the news that it needs to be able to blow up. So now, as we begin to look at the charts, we need to see what's a prediction, where will it find support, and will it reach it. But remember, this is only for entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. So let's go take a look at the technical side of this. So as we begin to look at the charts, keep in mind that I'm going to go pretty fast to make sure this is informative and at the same time keep you in the information that you need. So if you need to pause this video anytime, please do so. And if you want to get updates, go ahead and click that like button, subscribe, and go ahead and comment and put those alerts on so that you're notified whenever we put something out. So as we go on here, the first thing we're going to look at is what the trends have been. The trends have been that it dropped down here and it's starting to settle in the sideways nodes. Okay, well, how does that help us? Well, that helps us because all of a sudden, could there be another drop down? And if so, where would it be and how can that be supported? So if there is, that would be roughly the size of the wedge here. And if it drops down, it could drop down another 85%. So that we need to make sure that we're aware of, because if I'm considering a trade, I want to make sure I want to know what that last drop could be. Is there anything else supporting it? Absolutely. Let's look at the lowest zones that it's ever been at. It's been down to about $8 in there for that last swing, $7.50 or so, and then the lowest there down there about 19 cents, 40 cents, somewhere in there. So that's pretty low. And will it get those levels? I don't know, but it definitely, if it has a nice strong drop, and so does Bitcoin, then it could possibly see those levels again. But let's assume that it doesn't do that. Let's go ahead and set it up so that it does have the good news and it does break to the upside. What would be some of the support and resistance areas that it would have to surpass? Well, and so you can see here, there are going to be some pretty strong resistances on the way up. One right there, one right here, one right here, and of course the newest high. And those are very strong support resistance zones. And on support, it would be down in the 45 range, down in the 34, and 19. Now, I'm going to zoom in a little to make sure you can see them. And at the same time, you can pause the video so you can see where those generally tend to be. Now, there are soft zones that if it gets past those, or as it's getting to those, it could come across those and it slows it down a bit, but I'm not going to be too concerned about them. I'm just going to monitor them. So those are the pink areas that you see, and you can see the prices up on the right hand side. The ones that are pink are with the pink line, and the ones that are blue are with the blue. What I'm looking for is there anything that matches up? And right around here, right around 117, I expect that there should be some difficulty getting past that, but once it does, it has a little bit more of a clear path up towards potentially trying to make a new high. So let's take a look at, if we understand that, how can we use other tools to help us determine how much is retraced and how much it potentially could go up again. So let's go on the retracement side. We've been down, it's a 786. We may hit that 786 again and probably in that area. So it is very possible that we see that right there. And if it comes down into here, we'll probably got an 886 retracement. That's important to know just because where potentially would be those drops. Now, if it decides to go up, now we're looking, okay, what are my extensions? How far can this thing go up if it gets past all this area? Well, if we're in new territory up here, we've got to actually zoom in a lot more and go way up in this area. This is why some people are saying it's going to hit 500. Well, maybe. It definitely can, because this would be a super cycle and it would be all the way in this area, right around that 518 range to almost $700. That would be crazy, right? And if there's also another zone in there where it's right here, it's probably going to slow down right around that area of about 350 down to 278. We have to watch that very carefully, because if it gets rejected from that, it could come back down. But if it goes up, we're on to the next zone, which would be really nice. So that puts us in a really good space to be able to set up some targets. Let's set those targets up, and I'm going to be I'm going to put 3 of them up, because one of them will be a conservative entry, the other one will be a more aggressive one, and the last one will be a super dreamy one. So stay tuned so that you can see all 3 of them. So on my more conservative one, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to wait for it to break out, possibly jump up here, find some support, and once it finds that support, I'm going to shoot for that 80. Now it's very possible that $80 range. Now the entry would be right around that 55-ish range, and if it were to drop down, I'm willing to take the loss all the way down into this last support, which is $34. So that's a pretty big drop. That's a 50-50 chance that I may get that. So that is more conservative one, if you would, because it could drop down. So let's look at a more aggressive one, because I think this might more likely what I would probably be looking at. If I look down here and say, you know what, I think it's going to get down here and try to take out these last lows in here, possibly right around the 32-ish range. If it picks that up and it turns back around, it was just a fake out and it gets up to this range right in that 81, then that to me is a pretty good 150% return. That'd be really nice. It's a 5.75% risk to reward ratio. I like it, and that would be nice. Now if it fakes me out and it continues on down and it's a drop and it wasn't just a fake out, then I would take the loss and then set up my next one, which would be my dreamy one. For my dreamy one, I'm going to have to drop down all the way down into the zone, way into the lows, and I'll be trying to pick it up around $8, $7.90, somewhere in there, and be willing to take it all the way down to $1 if it dropped down. So that could be a significant drop, and I'm willing to take that risk. That's why you need to make sure that you consult with your own financial consultant. And on here, like obviously if I'm going to try to hit that moon, because at some point it will moon, it'll probably stay sideways for a long time. If it does do that, then let's say that it does hit that 500 range, then oh my goodness, we have to get all the way up into here and see what that return would be. A ridiculous 61x%. Now that's crazy, right? However, the analysis on here would say that, hey, it's not that unrealistic that it could hit those. But you know what, let's say we don't hit those. Let's say we just hit this right here, 34x. I wouldn't be too upset about that if it hit that. So again, this is just for entertainment purposes only, so go ahead and consult with your own financial consultant if you're going to take a risk on entering any trade, because they can be risky. However, if you like this, please click that like button, subscribe, as it helps our channel and it helps you to stay updated with what we share. All right, have an awesome day.